We're at the home screen. We all know this well, right? Yeah, we've all been in this. So I'm gonna go to reports, right? This is our reports screen showing saved reports we've run in the past that we've said we want to see again. Why I did this when I'm looking away from the camera to look at everyone, but that's fine. This is where we can go to view our reports, all saved reports. We'll get into that in a minute. To build a report, we go to build reports. This is all of the information by and large that we can run reports on in BakeSmart. We have end of day reports that are going to give you readouts of all the activity of a particular day, primarily payments based, but also a lot of good information in there otherwise. Ticket reports, we all know terminology of BakeSmart here. A ticket is a transaction with a customer, be it a sale or an order. Payments for all of us cash basis accounting folks. Items report, our item reports are generally going to be historically looking back at what you've sold in the past, as opposed to ordered items reports, which we try to give a perspective more into the future of what needs to be produced to meet your coming order demand. We've got some drawer reports, reconciliation, activity, kicks, withdrawals, deposits, things like that, taxes. Deliveries is a report that kind of combines tickets and ordered items for specifically delivered orders. We've got override reports, discounts, letting you know who's run discounts, which discounts are popular, those types of things. You can run reports on your rental items, which is a product type, gift and loyalty card balances, so on and so forth. All the way down. I'm not going to go through all of these. Lots of great stuff, though, that we can get data out, information out of BakeSmart from what we've put in. So if I were going to run a ticket report here, I wanted to look at transactions over a period of time. One thing we're going to talk about here is time and dates, different dates. We've got every ticket has a ticket date, which is right here, and a date required right here. Ticket date is the date of inception, when it was created. It's origination date, right? Like we started a transaction on this day. That's either creating an order or transacting a sale. And then date required is when it's needed for the customer. If it's a sale, it's going to be the same. The date required is going to be the same as the ticket date. It's just when the transaction was completed, right? So you add items in to start the ticket and you accept payment, that closes the ticket for a sale. So they'll happen all on the same day. Orders will generally have a span of dates in between them, from ticket date to when it's created to date required, when it's given to the customer and closed, whether it's delivered, picked up, shipped, whatever it is. I want to look at another way to think at this, if I remember this criteria, is ticket date. If you're running reports on ticket date, you want to look at all of the business you've opened for that day, right? How much business did we open up that day? Orders accepted, sales completed. Date required, how much business did we close that day, right? How many sales did we transact, and how many orders did we deliver to customers, right? Where that transaction was completed. Tend to see reports generally run on date required on closed business, right? So if I were to do that and I were to say, hey, I wanted to look at last week, we've got these date presets available here. Clicking these are contextual, so obviously it's based on the current date, but this will load last week, this week, next week. If you're saving a report, which we'll get into in a little bit, using these buttons is very helpful because we're going to keep the context of the button that was selected. So if I want a report that is tickets this week, or I'm sorry, let me stick with what I was saying, tickets last week, and I save this report, whatever day I run this saved report on, it's going to show last week's tickets based on whatever date it is I'm running that for. Does that, I've only got two faces, but does that make sense? Did I explain that well enough? Okay. Too much. We'll not worry about that. We'll over explain away. You can also do this neat little thing here, next 4 days, right? or whatever you want there. It's inclusive of the current date, or you can choose individual days, right? And add these in. These are kind of neat. But back to date range, I'm going to do last week, continue. So this is a play in 4 acts here, basically, right? The first act is report criteria. What range of data do I want to look at? If you want to look at all your data, remove all your criteria. We're gonna run it on everything. We're gonna include it on everything that's in the ticket table. We're gonna run this on. But when we do date required in last week, we're saying, hey, I just want that subset of data, right? And then we can close it further, where we can say, hey, I just want to look at orders, right? So restrict that even further. So we're looking at a smaller and smaller subset of data. This is a filter, right? You're running your data through a filter to get at the information you want. So you can filter it as much as you want here, right? And then we can say, hey, I just want ones that are paid in full, right? So give me orders that we closed last week, orders only that are paid in full, right? No balances. I just want to see what's completely paid out. And then we've got summarized by here. So this is the second act, right? This is all right. We've filtered it. Now that we've got our neat set of data here that's been filtered down, how do we want to look at it, right? Do we want to look at? I mean, if we looked at it this way, it would be, hey, these orders were created on this particular date, and for this particular store within each date. I don't know if that makes a ton of sense. So I'm actually going to pull those out. But we can say, hey, I just want to see each day of the week last week. What orders did we close out and get paid in full, right? And so that's the second thing, how we're going to sort these. You can pick up to 3 summarize options. So we can say date required. You can put the customer in there if you want. Any other option as well. I'm gonna leave it at just date required for simplicity's sake. Then on many of our reports we have, we're on our third act here, our view options. We don't have it for all of them, but for a lot of them we do. This one we're looking at sales data. If I wanted more order details, looking at like maybe customer information, things like that, we can include that here as well. We have crosstabs on some of these reports and then time summaries as well. I'm going to stick with sales data for now. We can peek at a few of the other views as we do this. And then finally, our fourth act is our level of detail. Most reports are going to have a summary, a low detail, and a high detail, right? And so a summary is just going to bring a total in for all of that. And then the detail is going to show the detail of each individual record that occurs within that set of information, right? So I'll kind of show what I mean here. I'm going to show a summary of all this information, right? So we summarized by date required, right? So you're seeing the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, all the way down there. Those are all of our summaries, right? We don't know what orders they are, right? We don't know the customer. We don't know any of that. We do know, we can see the count here. There were 11 orders on the 3rd, 14, 13, all the way down here for each day. So we know there were multiple, right? But again, we're just looking at a summary of, just give me the summary information of that particular day. If I go back to the setup and change it to detail, we're gonna see each individual order occur here, right? So if I go low detail, right now we're looking at the 3rd, and then, hey, here's these 11 orders, and then the 4th, and hey, here's these 14 orders, right? So now we're looking at a detail, which again, this is pretty low detail. What we're looking at is the ticket ID, the order number, the amount of taxable sales, subtotal, and the tax, right? And then a total amount. We can look at even more here, right? But again, that's our sales data view, right? So we're looking at the sale data, our sales total on the ticket, our tax collected on the ticket, and then our high detail is going to give a little bit more, right? Okay, so now we've got a little bit of customer information up there as well. Time required on here. not a ton more, but that's what we're doing. We're showing increasing amounts of information as we do that. If we move to a different view, again, we'll see different information altogether, right? So now when we're looking at order details, we're able to see all of the individual items on there, the customer's phone number, the pickup option, right? Custom and non-custom items, which are still on the summary option up there, but right, we're seeing different views, different information based on the view we've selected of the report. So that's how we create reports. That's how you filter the data, organize the data, view the data, and then how deep, how much information do you want there? Is it a summary or a detail, right? And then sometimes you want to manipulate the data or share the data, right? So we can print it out for one. Paper's great. Everybody likes wasting paper. That's cool. Save the file, right? We can save it as a PDF or Excel. Practically every single report in BakeSmart can be exported to PDF or Excel. Manipulate away from there. That's fine. And then if we like this report and we think we're going to come back to this report again sometime down the road, but don't want to have to enter in all of these criteria, we can save the setup, and then it'll appear on the saved reports screen that we started on, right? So this is Mike's ticket report. Give some context last week. We can close that out. And then if we go back here, we'll see Mike's ticket report last week, right? We click into here. We see everything's the same that I selected, right? It even saved the view, the level of detail that it was on when I selected to save it, all of that. That's reports kind of in a nutshell. And then I guess I am going to touch on automatic reports as well, which is a pretty handy thing. Send to inbox, right? So this is this report. I can do this one time. I can send it to somebody either via email or within their BakeSmart inbox, which I'll show you in a moment, or I can make it a repeating report, right? So I can say, hey, every I want to send this as a PDF. I'm going to email it. I'm going to send it to myself. I'm going to add another person, right? Tinkerbell needs this, and so does Tweety Bird, right? And we're going to send this weekly, starting Sunday night, right? And so every Sunday night, they're going to get a report for the previous week of what they've done. Is that relevant right now? Probably not. But, right, you can also, would probably make more sense is, hey, here's what's coming up in the coming week. You'll get that every week, right? So, but these can be scheduled, right? So now that this is in here, right, it's been sent to the report generator. The back end of BakeSmart is automatically going to shoot this report out like forever until you tell it to stop. And then those are in here, automatic, right? So here's my saved automatic report, showing you the criteria, showing you all that information. You can edit this information as well, to just get the information into the hands of the people who need it. You have a month-end report you need to send to your accountant, we can do that. You have, end of day numbers you want to get to partners, business owners, you can do that. Middle of the night reports you need to get to your bakers as to what they need to produce, you can do that, and it's all automatic, right? You don't have to remember to do it anymore. So just a time saver, and you just release that additional mental lift you've got to do in your day-to-day. There's a lot in reports. I kind of covered the big stuff, but I think I'm going to open this if anybody's got questions, because I imagine people on here have specific quandaries, unless I'm completely reading the room wrong. Becky's got a question. Hey, Becky.
Hey, so I would just need to have that person's email within their user information.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And then, okay, so another part of this, full disclosure, we do need to set up a script on your server to automate this process if it's not been done already. So if you can schedule time with us to do so, that'd be great. We've got links online to schedule stuff on our calendar. There is a back end setup that I'm completely ignoring for the purposes of this class, because we're not really getting into FileMaker server management right now, and hopefully never. But that's where we're at with this.
Wait, can you show them the inbox in BakeSmart in case
Oh,
people
yes. Thank you. So if it goes to the inbox in BakeSmart, it'll come right here. You'll see a little red dot if you've got one. And then it'd be a list of them here. So why don't I go ahead and do that, right? Here, I'm gonna send to inbox, one time, PDF, BakeSmart inbox, myself, done. Well, you know what? Since I don't have server running, I don't know that that's gonna happen. But it would be right here. It would show up right there. Oh, we've got some chat going here.
I put the link so everybody, if you want to schedule, time, it's an easy way.
Anybody have questions on this? I can dip into our end of day a little bit too. That's a pretty cool report. It's a little different, right? We don't have criteria on this one, because we really want it just to be specific to the date selected, which, I mean, you can do different days and things like that, but we're going to run separate reports for each of those. We're not going to compile on this one, I don't think. I think we've really tried to stay away from that, but you can choose which report sections get included in this. So we can have a pretty extensive end of day report that prints out, or a very short one that just says, hey, here's all the payments we accepted. Here's your cash in, right? But we can get pretty complete in this one. Bookkeepers like this a lot, because they always have lots of questions. What's up? Yeah.
Okay. Can I see the orders by category, the dollar amount tied to that?
So an ordered items report.
Yeah, so like if I'm looking at my last month's sales, like I have a report and I can see everything, that we just rang as a ticket, but the ordered items, like if I, collect $50,000 on orders, how can I figure out which category of items to allot that my sales?
And we're talking closed business, right? So these are completed orders over the last month. You want to know what you sold.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
dollar wise.
Yep. I think this would do it. If we go to last month and we're looking at items and prices. Well, category. Let's see what we get here. All right. So yeah, this is giving you your sales total here. Right now. So yeah, 1,100 in beverages, 7,200 in bread, right? On 166 in cakes. I'm sure that's exactly what you did. Just kidding. The late cake. Right. So these would be your totals here in sales.
So really it's like the cake matrix items. And if somebody orders cupcakes ahead, that's where I'm struggling to find like what my sales were in each category. So that would lump everything together, this report right here, whether it was just a bakery case sale or a special order.
No. So because I'm running it on ordered items,
okay,
it's only including items that are on orders.
Okay.
Right. And if I remove the item, right, that's probably complicating things too. Like these are the categories
Okay.
of sales for the last month of our made up bakery. But that should get you what you need. And then the view is items and prices.
I think that's what I've been missing, is that the view, the items and prices.
Okay. You could also do an item report, and your part of your filter is orders only.
Okay. I feel like I've done that. I don't know. I've done so many reports.
Okay.
I've got pages and
Okay.
pages.
Gotcha. Um, any other questions we can answer for folks? Cindy, you don't have a question? All right. Put that in the comment, but don't believe you. But we'll talk about it later. All right, Jay's back in. So yeah, here's
Mike,
our report.
Mike, could
What's
you
up?
maybe go over report permissions a little bit? And so they
Oh,
can see how to do
yeah.
reports for people that don't need to see maybe dollar amounts or something.
Great idea. Yes, thanks, Jared. I totally forgot about that section. So not only do we have like great reports that we can run that you can filter and organize just about any way you want. Also, if our reports don't have something you need, as I head on over that way, Jared, let us know. Generally, it's really easy to add to these and customize these in some fashion. There's some caveats to that, but by and large, this is what it is because of customer requests, right? These criteria and these filters and the summary options is, hey, I want to look at my data this way, and that's us answering that question, right? So we're pretty flexible in that regard. But as Jared said, good one. We're also really good at making sure people don't look at things they don't need to look at, and we do that with user controls and permissions. So from the home screen here, I'm going to open up the menu. I'm going to go down to settings, and then I'm going to select users down here at the bottom. I'm going to look at our admin user, and then to our access privileges here. And then at the bottom right, we have our report controls here. So manage reports is the highest level of access you can have, which basically means, hey, I'm going to build custom reports. I'm going to have access to all the criteria. I can schedule automatic reports, all those sorts of things. The next level is access custom reports, meaning you can kind of build your own criteria and do things like that, like a level below admin. Pretty well full-fledged access. I just don't think you're deleting reports or maybe scheduling automatic ones. But then and then a level below that is, hey, you can run saved reports. So that's what it is. So access custom reports gives you access to the build reports function where you can see all of the different those rectangles of report types we can run. And then access saved reports, you just have access to the saved reports that are on that saved reports screen. So you're not building your own, you're limited by what's available there. A level below that, you can actually assign people to reports. And so some people can only see the reports that they've been assigned to specifically. And on top of that, you can actually lock criteria. So you can be like, hey, my baker can look at what we made last week or what needs to be made for next week, but I don't need them running a year of production, right? Like that's not relevant to what they're doing, right? I don't need my front of house manager to know what our Q1 sales were. I just need them to focus on yesterday and to make today better than yesterday. That kind of thing, right? Just to keep noses on the grindstone and not where they don't belong, perhaps. Right. So assigned reports and then no access. Like, hey, you don't need this. You're clocking in and out. Let's leave it at that. Where that occurs, right? I'm going to go back to reports again. Right. If I'm managing our saved reports, so I've got Mike's. Well, that's different because that's getting mailed. Here we go. Right. So batch report. We actually have an assigned user to this, and we can add more. Right. So you can add multiple assigned users, right? So these people, if they have their access, access saved reports, or no, access assigned reports, they'll now be able to see this report in their list. And then as far as the lock criteria goes, this is where we can say, hey, you're only going to look at this store, right? You don't need to go looking at what the North store is doing. Just worry about yourself, right? So that's how user controls and lock criteria works for that. It was pretty cool. Thanks, Jared. I totally forgot we had this. Any other questions we can help with on this one? All right, well, we're gonna run for anybody doing cakes and cake matrix. I feel like I'd be remiss to not cover this. I'm sure you all know it, but just as we ran, an ordered items report, let's say for this week, and we want to see category and item, right? The cake matrix, right? These are your custom cakes. We can see the different shapes. These tell you which pans to pull. Really no other useful information. And so we've got instead our flavor and size report, which is going to take each of your batters and then show you which pan this batter needs to go in and how many of each, right? So we're not leafing through and tallying up and saving time. I'm sure you all know that by now, though, but it's my favorite one because it's a huge time saver. All right, folks, any other questions? Cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Another amazing BakeSmart Masterclass. This one on reporting. And we'll see you out there. As always, feel free to get a hold of us via our support line, schedule time with us on our calendars, and happy baking, everyone. Take care.